The second Sunday in March has been etched in cyclist diaries for 46 years. It's the day Cape Town opens its roads for close on 30,000 riders to take on the 109-kilometre Cape Town Cycle Tour. It's an annual habit, ritual or fix. For some it defines their cycling life and year. For others it's a once-off, and still others take it very seriously. It is a race that everyone wants to win. And amateurs and pros from all over the world won't miss it for the world.
Yeah, it's such a special morning and event. I'm totally loving it. And you're part of something so big, you know, with so many riders. It's already the day before riding along Camps Bay. It's very special and one of my favorite days in a cycling life.
The elite batch of men had gathered outside the Cape Town Castle, some 200 of them, many an ambitious solo racer hunting a life-changing win. But they were up against the powerhouse professional teams like RKC Collective and Honeycomb BEE.
Yeah, for sure. We were just saying that there's so much hype and this event is such a big event. We would like more events like this in South Africa. But yeah, we're here and the weather looks a bit good. So yeah, lots at stake. I mean, both of us, we bigger riders. Hopefully get there through the climbs and for the sprint. But yeah, it's going to be a good day out.
And you mentioned the weather, a little bit of a breeze. What do you think about what it's going to look like en route?
Yeah, I think it's always wind's always a bit quiet when you're in town. I'm sure once you get back out on the Blue Route, you'll realize quickly what the wind's doing. I'm pretty sure there will be some wind out there. So just see how strong it really is and to see if that would have any influence on the race. Normally it does, but just depends on how hard the wind's actually blowing.
About 30 kilometres down the road in Fishhoek, there was excitement and anticipation ahead of the elite women and boys under 17 starts. They'd do the 78-kilometre route, finishing in Greenpoint. Defending champion Kim LeCourt was racing in Europe. Five-time winner Charisse Willate was absent, as was new African champion Hayley Perrine. So this was a big opportunity for a rider to write her name in the history books. One rider with ambitions of completing a unique treble was national champion Carla Oberholzer, who was keen to add the Cape Town Cycle Tour title to her Ride Joburg title she won last year. With the sky brightening, the women set off. First out front was local rider Nicola Walker of Reach for Rainbows, a team focused on encouraging more women to race. The sun was creeping over the Hottentots Holland Mountains. A clear sky. And for now, calm conditions prevailed on the False Bay coast. We passed through Simonstown and Millers Point. The first climb, Spitzwinkel, loomed, and Sandton City Cycle Nation's Lisa Bone put in a strong solo attack. Back in the city centre, Cape Town Mayor Jordan Hill-Lewis was performing one of two duties he had on the day.
You've become quite an action man. I was at a park run the other day, and you're at the front of the park run. How did that go?
It went very well. It's park run, such an awesome event in Cape Town. It happens across the city, and just like this, a wonderful, wonderful Cape Town get outside and do something kind of event.
Exactly, and I think that's what you've been doing. You're going for the full triathlon, I think. Hey? So now you're at the start line. Who got you involved in like cycling and getting going all the way around the peninsula?
Well, obviously I work very closely every day with Premier Alan Windy, and Alan is a very avid cyclist. And he was working on me every single day. He was working on me, and eventually I just caved and agreed last year to do the short course. Loved the short course, and I thought the long course is so much more picturesque. Let me go and try the long course. So today I'm in it for the full thing.
The short course over 42 kilometres started much later than the elite men's field, who rolled away in the shadow of the ever-present sentinel that is Table Mountain. Among them were former champions Nolan Hoffman, looking for a fifth title, 2022 winner Mark Pritzen, and defending champion Chris Juster. The conditions were perfect for racing, and these men were up for it as they charged along the bottom end of the longest numbered road in South Africa, the 2,255-kilometre N2. Team Honeycomb had 10 riders in their lineup, including Mark Pritzen, Jaco van Dijk, Casper Creer, and Tristan Nokier, second to Ryan Gibbons at the National Championships. Mountain bike star Alan Hatherley in the black of Cannondale Factory Racing was on the move early. His form was good. He'd won the Tour de Cup a few days earlier. Veteran track star Olympian David Maria was in the mood as well. Up Edinburgh Drive, the day's break was starting to take shape. Mad Max, Honeycomb, ASAP World and Realty Dynamics were represented. Through Musenberg, Weinert Hofmeyer drove the pace ahead of Charlie McFall, Bradley Scott, Dan Loubser and the two Realty men, Henry Geldenhuys and Theuns van der Bank. This was a formidable group of strong and experienced riders, and they were all in as their lead over the chasing peloton grew to over 90 seconds as they charged through Simonstown. The teams who missed the break, TEG Cycling, Kinetic Pro and Alawani Principal amongst them, were trying to organise the chase as they went through Cork Bay and St James and headed for Simonstown. There was a sense of urgency. The chasers knew the threat posed by the power of the five up front could scupper their plans. Also missing out were RKC Collective, who had defending champion Jooste, Duploy as well as Keenan Rutt and Kent Main as their four-man lineup. Meanwhile, the Western Cape was putting on a show once again. Clear blue seas and clear blue skies. Nicola Walker's lone escapade in the women's race was about to come to an end as they went past the entrance to Sandparks' Cape Point Nature Reserve. It was a bold move by the 42-year-old, an example to all those aspiring to race. The main peloton were content to let her hang out front with around 30 kilometres ridden as they went past one of the 12 well-stocked and enthusiastically staffed order points at Paardekloof. Through beautiful Scarborough and Misty Cliffs, they were all together as the main protagonists began preparing for the pivotal moments in the race. The Chapman's Peak Drive and Suikerbos's climbs loomed about 10 k's ahead. In the colours of action cycles in Gqeberha was Jonita McKenzie, who had Joe van der Winkel of Sandton City Cycle Nation on her wheel going through Ocean View. Little Lion's Head presiding over Hart Bay to one side and Llandudno to the other. Chapman's Peak duly delivered the drama as it does year in and year out. The wheat dropped away and a break had got away. National champion Carlo Obolser was in the mix, as was Tiffany Keep. They were soon joined by 5 others as they dropped at lightning speed down into Hart Bay. Back with the men's race as the chase summited Smitswinkel. The motivated quintet up front were still taking chunks of time out of them as they flew towards Scarborough and Misty Cliffs. Loubser, Hofmeyer, McFall, Van der Bank, Geldenhuys and Scott. Dan Loubser, known for his solo breakaway exploits, he was the only one in the break without teammates behind him. He was working really hard, no doubt hoping they could stay away to the finish. But things were happening in the chase. Hatherley was busy hatching a plan and dragging a couple of riders with him as they hunted down the break. On Chappies, Loubser and Henry Geldenhuys had one last throw of the dice. The Realty Dynamics man had won the Herald Cycle Tour at Gqeberha a few weeks back. But the big hitters were closing in fast. Pritson on the front, and the senior statesman in the peloton, Jaco Venter, locked to his wheel. The gap was just seconds now, and by the drop past Llandudno, the group of 9 riders was clear. The under-17 race ended in a thrilling 3-up sprint. The big figure of Josh Johnson in the middle, Dean Woolley on the right, and Faz Khatib. And it was KwaZulu-Natal's Johnson who had the power and speed to take the win. The women's race was not far behind. Tiffany Keep just managed to beat Sonara Grove with Vera Lossa and Carlo Obolser 3rd and 4th.
I was super excited for this race today, and I woke up feeling really motivated, and I could feel on the climbs that I was on a good day. And anyone who competes in cycling knows that 9 out of 10 days are not going to be great, and you work really hard for the 1 out of 10 times that you have a good day. Today was one of those days, and I just said to myself, even in the sprints, like, you got to do this, like, you got to take this today. And so yeah, I was super stoked that I could get the win.
A huge win for the talented 23-year-old who'll be heading to Europe soon to race for a Das Hansling team, a worthy 21st women's winner. In the men's race, Kent Main of RKC Collective emerged as the solo winner.
Yeah, I think obviously always you line up the competition the night before and you think who's on good form. We just came from the Tour de Cap in Paarl this week, so most of the guys racing there were racing here. The Cannondale boys, the mountain bikers, super strong. I mean, you got world champs there and guys on the top level of the world. Then teams like Honeycomb were 9 people strong, including their veterans riders. And then Nolan, obviously a great rider. I looked up to him when I was growing up, and he's still racing at his older age, and he's an inspiration to many. So it's such a great event, and to be racing against such a good field is amazing feeling. It was a super hard race from Smitswinkel. Yeah, we only got a team of 4, and I was a bit isolated, but it actually worked in our favor. A super hard race, and I don't actually know what to say.
Under 23 mountain bike champion Charlie Aldridge was second, Hatherley his teammate third, Fenter fourth, an amazing ride by 21-year-old Luke Moyer of the Cube mountain bike team, fifth just 2 months after breaking his ankle. The day, of course, was about all 30,000 riders and the warm and friendly residents of the city who cheered them along the way in great conditions. The Cape Town Cycle Tour Trust Director David Belair could not have wished for anything better.
Cape Town is showing off today. The weather's been amazing. It's just a perfect day for riding.
It's beautiful. I mean, I go to bed every Saturday night before the cycle tour for the last 33 years with trepidation. I wake up in the morning dead scared to open the window and see what's happening outside. And today's been spectacular. We know there's a bit of breeze out towards Cape Point, so it's going to be tough for some of the riders. But that breeze will be blowing them home, so that's a good thing. But it has. I mean, if you looked at the start this morning and if you look at the start here over the finish at Greenpoint, it is a glorious day. So we're very pleased. I'm pleased for the team that's delivering this, because it's nice to be rewarded with some decent weather and some happy cyclists.
Happy they most certainly were. The day of celebrations was tinged with sadness on the news late on that one of the founders of the Cape Town Cycle Tour and a member of the Magnificent Seven who'd participated in every tour, Louis Duval, had passed away at his home on the 46th anniversary of the race. Louis will be sadly missed in the sporting and business community of Cape Town.